Hi guys, Josh here, and in this video, I'll be sharing with you the 10 farming simulation games I'm looking forward to the most that should be releasing in 2025. 2024 was fine, we got a few great games, a lot of disappointing ones as well, but this next year looks very promising. If you see a game you like, leave a like on the video and subscribe because I will be covering all of them throughout the year, and now let's begin. I want to start with the game I'm the most excited for. It won't be a surprise if you've been on this channel before, the next Story of Seasons. This one was first revealed back in May 2023 during the Marvelous Game Showcase. We got a bit more info and a new trailer in 2024, and hopefully we should be able to play it in 2025. What I find so interesting here is that usually with Story of Seasons, there's maybe 6 months to a year between the announcement and the release, but here we're going to be approaching the 2-year mark, so you can tell that they're taking their time and really trying to build up the hype. It's no secret that the last original mainline entry in the series, Pioneers of Olive Town, was a bit rushed, but they listened to the players' feedback and managed to deliver a few patches after the release, which improved some of the biggest flaws of the game. So I would hope that they learned from that and that they're going to give us a more polished experience this time around. We still don't know too much about this game, but we know that they're putting a lot of work to evolve the series graphically. There will be more visual changes based on the weather and seasons. You can already see here that winter will look a lot more like winter than in Olive Town. Crops and flowers look more detailed, but I hope they also provide us with improved gameplay, as in the end, that's the most important. All we know for the gameplay is it seems like there will be an emphasis on exploration, with different wild areas to discover and a glider to make traversing them a bit easier. I can't wait to see more, and I want to know about the villagers, the town. I want to see the UI, the actual gameplay, so I hope we get a new trailer soon. We don't have a name for this game yet, no date, no platform. And that is also unusual for Marvelous because they typically tell us at least the name and platforms right away. My guess is that it could come out for the successor to the Nintendo Switch. It could maybe release on Switch or Steam as well, but I think this would be such a perfect launch title or something to have early on with Nintendo's next console. Come back to this video in a few months and let me know if I was right or wrong. No matter what, everything leading up to this release is very different from usual for this series. I feel like that is a good sign, and I can't wait to play it. Speaking of something different, next we have Super Farming Boy. I played a demo of this game on Steam earlier this year, and it should be coming soon to PC, Apple TV, iOS, Android, as well as Nintendo, and you may notice that it doesn't say Nintendo Switch specifically. This game is a combination of puzzle, farming, action. I don't know if you're familiar with Harvest Moon Frantic Farming. It reminds me of that, but incredibly better. There is this evil cloud guy called Corpo who steals your mom, friends, and everything you have. He then hires you to farm and make money for him. Also, you can buy your loved ones back and gain power-ups as you progress. It's a very wacky, quirky game, and I love the comic book, cartoon-inspired art style and animations. The way farming works here is that every crop you harvest triggers a chain reaction in a certain direction, so you have to place them all strategically in order to create combos to get more money and be more efficient. The demo is still up on Steam right now. I had so much fun with it. It's certainly different from your typical farming sim, but I think we need that, and I usually don't care too much for superheroes, but look at Super Farming Boy, he's so cute, so amazing, better than anyone from the MCU. Now here's a game that will divide many people, you can fight about it in the comments, Tales of the Shire. Originally supposed to release in 2024 and then pushed back to March 25th, 2025 for Steam, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, Nintendo Switch, and Netflix games. This will be a cozy Lord of the Rings experience where you play as a hobbit in the peaceful Shire. I got to play a preview version last September, I have a video covering it if you want to see more. But here's the summary. The gameplay loop consists of gathering ingredients, either through fishing, farming, or foraging, all fairly simple activities, and then you use those to make food and host parties at your place. You invite your friends and each one will have different tastes, so maybe one will want something sweet, another one will want something spicy, so you need to find the recipes that will please everyone. Cooking is done through simple minigames, but you can do things like adjust the recipes, for example by making ingredients chunky or smooth, tender or crisp, or by adding seasonings. Then you awkwardly watch your guests as they eat, and they reward you with things like furniture that you can use to decorate your house. Their decorating mechanics are great, there are so many options, and the entire gameplay loop was fun, at least for the 90 minutes that I played. However, I worry that it might become repetitive or shallow after doing the same thing over and over again. I get the impression that there won't be too much more to the game than what I experienced, but I might be wrong. Graphically, I think the environments look good, filled with details that really transport you to the Shire. but the character models look like they're straight up from the 2003 Hobbit game that was on the GameCube. I'm exaggerating slightly, but they certainly have the same blocky, rough look, and I'm not too sure how I feel about it. So I have some mixed feelings on Tales of the Shire. Yes, I am looking forward to it. I think I will have a good time overall, but I also don't expect it to become my favorite game of 2025. One game that does have the potential to become my favorite, or one of my favorites, is Fantasy Life I, The Girl Who Steals Time, releasing in April 2025 for Nintendo Switch, and as shown in their latest trailer, other platforms undecided. This will be the second entry in the Fantasy Life series. The first one was on the 3DS, and they're not really farming sims, but they share many elements that appeal to people who like farming sims. You will choose between several different lives. To name a few, there's Mercenary, Woodcutter, Angler, Cook, Blacksmith, and brand new ones such as Farmer and Artist. Each life will allow you to do a different activity, gather or craft unique items, and you will be able to instantly switch between lives. So if you feel like fighting, you will be able to play a combat life for a bit. If you want to just relax, fish, or farm, there will be lives for those activities as well, making the game so versatile based on how you feel at any time. We should retrieve everything that made the first game so great, and new features include the ability to terraform and decorate the island, time-traveling mechanics, random dungeons, and there's going to be a 2-player local co-op and a 4-player online co-op. There is going to be so much here. I know some are worried because of the constant delays, but I am confident it will be just as good or even better than the original, and definitely worth the wait. We're now going to jump into a first-person perspective for our next game, Solarpunk. I know there are already tons of farming, crafting, and survival first-person games out there, but this one stands out to me in several ways. The world of Solarpunk will be comprised of floating islands that you will travel to using your airship, and I simply love how everything looks. It's vibrant, colorful, the sky looks nice. A lot of first-person games tend to try to be hyper-realistic, and I like the slightly cartoony style here and just the fact that we'll get to directly control the airship. Being in the sky also means that weather will be playing a big part, and you'll have to construct different machines to take advantage of sunlight, wind, and water to create an energy system that will automate tasks like gathering resources and watering your plants. So there's going to be exploration, automation, building, and decoration, and all of this you will be able to enjoy either by yourself or with friends. Solarpunk should release sometime in 2025 for Steam, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and Switch. I wonder how it's gonna run on there. But the best part is, we're so used to these crafting survival games doing early access. It feels like all of them are doing it, it's tiring, but this one will be a full release from day one, so we will be able to play it from start to finish without having to take breaks, waiting for updates. Next, if you're familiar with Sakuna of Rice and Rune, then you might be excited for its first spin-off game, Sakuna Chronicles, Kokorowa, and the Gears of Creation. This one may not have farming in it, but the original game did, and there's probably going to be a few similarities, even if it's not farming, so I wanted to include it. Instead of playing as Sakuna, you'll be following the story of her friend, the Princess Kokorowa, goddess of wheels and inventions. You'll be tasked with guiding your realm as it learns how to use automation. Nothing at all has been revealed in regards to the gameplay mechanics, but with the theme, name, and the bit that we can see, we can imagine that the game will feature automation, giving directions to your people, creating machines, things like that. We'll most likely get to see more in the near future. We don't have a date or platform yet, but with how unique and creative the first game was, it made farming like in no other game. I have absolutely no doubt that this one will manage to completely reinvent the wheel. It's so exciting to see this series being expanded upon. Since they're clearly labeling this one as a spin-off, I think we could very well be getting more mainline games as well in the future. We also got a Sakuna anime, which I have not had the time to watch yet, but it must be good because they announced a sequel to it already, as well as a mobile game, so all of this is only the beginning for Sakuna. Not only will there be a Sakuna mobile game, which I don't have much to say about since there's no footage yet, there's also going to be a Dinkum mobile game called Dinkum Together, for which we do have some footage. Dinkum has been one of my favorite games of the last few years. I played it for over 130 hours. It is in early access, but I still have so much left to do in it. While I typically stay away from mobile games, this one is managing to catch my interest. It is being developed by 5min Lab, a South Korean studio who specializes in mobile gaming, and they aim to capture the essence and world of Dinkum, so You can expect to see most of its iconic features and mechanics like riding jet skis, fighting alpha crocodiles, but with a little mobile touch and visuals that lean into a cuter, more playful style, which some will like, some will dislike. We'll have to wait and see how the mobile gimmicks such as in-app purchases get implemented, but if it's done well, I could see this as something fun to play for a few minutes here and there, while you're away from a computer for the real Dinkum, which I hope will get its full release in 2025. And since it's made by a completely different company, don't worry, this is not affecting the development of Dinkum. Even if you're not interested in this mobile game, I think it is good to see Dinkum becoming so successful and growing into these side projects that might either bring people to the PC game or encourage other projects for this Australia-inspired game that feels like a unique blend of Animal Crossing and Minecraft. This following game is also a blend, one of Stardew Valley, and any game that takes place in a city instead of the countryside. Sunkissed City is being developed by Mr. Podunkian, who was hired by Concerned Ape to work on some of the Stardew Valley updates and ports, and you can clearly see the inspiration. Putting the similar visuals aside, this game should have plenty to offer for an experience that can stand on its own. You'll be moving to Apollo City where things are not as good as they used to be. The wildlife is becoming aggressive, waters are polluted, monsters are coming out of the sewers, so you will have to find out what's happening and work hard to bring life and normalcy back to Apollo. There will be a big emphasis on freedom and customization here, so not only will you have tons of options to choose from for your character, the house customization will be very strong, letting you freely build new rooms by adding floors and walls wherever you'd like. Being in the city also means things like gardening on a rooftop, lots of quirky characters to befriend or romance, and we will get to see some interesting features such as automation and a co-op mode. I think that this could be really fun if you're looking for a more standard farming sim, but with the atmosphere of being in a city. It is planned to release on Steam in the last quarter of 2024. I'm recording this on December 1st and there's been no announcement, so I'm assuming it won't be releasing this year, and instead sometime in 2025. One announcement we did get recently is from Hakama, the developer of the Rune Factory series, now working on a game called Progress Orders. This one should release worldwide on April 9th for Steam and Nintendo Switch. I don't think I've seen that in a game before, but here you'll get to play as a guild master. You will pick between the male or female protagonist, use various facilities like a blacksmith, an item shop, and a garden, all in order to gather materials and equipment for your guild members. You will give them orders, send them on adventures around the world that will progress automatically for the most part as you do other things, but you will also have the choice to step in during battles if you desire. As you and the guild progress through these orders, you will deepen your relationship with 6 different companions and get to learn more about their story. I do believe the game could be fun, but I think it could disappoint a lot of people who do not have the right expectations. So far, it seems like the only 3D environment you'll be able to walk around in is the guild. Cutscenes and dialogues will be in this visual novel style, the turn-based combat in this very old-school format where you just see the monster sprites with little particle effects for each attack. So it's going to be a lot of menus and text, and not much will be happening in 3D. Progress Orders will be published by Bushiroad Games. This is who Hakama worked with to publish El Rantero's Wanderings earlier this year. So from everything I can see so far, I imagine the game will be of a similar scope and budget. So personally, I will be playing it, I will review it on this channel, but I already know many people will jump into the game thinking it's going to be like Rune Factory, and it won't. If you want a Rune Factory game though, no worries, because Rune Factory Guardians of Azuma will be releasing in spring 2025 for Nintendo Switch and Steam. This will be the newest spin-off title in the series, so first there was Frontier, then Tides of Destiny, and Guardians of Azuma is next. This means that while some of the core mechanics such as combat, farming, festivals, and romance will return, we can expect them to derive a bit from the usual formula, plus new mechanics will make their appearance. The big one here is we'll get to rebuild entire villages after they've been destroyed by the Celestial Collapse, this huge thing crashing on the eastern lands of Azuma. We'll decide where to place the buildings, we'll decorate, and gradually villagers will return and then reward you by helping with tasks like farming so you don't have to take care of everything by yourself as you go rebuild the other villages. The world will be divided in different seasonal areas, and since it's going to be taking place in the eastern lands, the environments, architecture, culture, and characters will all be inspired by Japan instead of the traditional Western fantasy setting. Personally, the Rune Factory spin-offs are always my favorites. As much as I love 3, 4, and 5, They're all very similar mechanically, so I am excited for this fresh experience. In terms of graphics, Rune Factory 5 was a bit rough, the open world was empty, not the best, but just like I was saying with Story of Seasons, it seems like the developers are learning from their mistakes here, investing more time and money in their project so they don't repeat them. I know the art style is not for everybody, but you can already tell that we will be getting smaller, more carefully crafted areas, kind of like in the previous spin-off titles. If you prefer the classic Rune Factory formula, well, Rune Factory 6 is in development as well, but we don't know much about it yet, and my guess is we probably won't play it until at least 2026. We'll have so many games to play until 2026 though, and if you want even more, here's a little bonus game that I'm adding to the list. Pixel Cross Rune Factory. In February of 2024, we got Pixel Cross Story of Seasons, and sometime in 2025, we'll get a similar game, but with the Rune Factory franchise for Steam and Nintendo Switch. If you know Nonograms or the Picross games, that's what this is. And completing puzzles will unlock pictures from the Rune Factory universe, like characters, monsters, crops, and so on. It seems like they took the feedback from Pixel Cross Story of Seasons, and this time we'll be getting not only monochrome, but also color variations for the puzzles, customization options for the farm, some sort of a challenge mode, small things that should add a bit more flair to the experience, but keep in mind, in the end, it's still gonna be a puzzle game. For me, I find these so fun and addictive. I love to play them for a few minutes before bed to start my day, or whenever I need a break between two big farming games. I also want to point out that this is being developed by Score Studios and published by Rainy Frog. They're simply using the Rune Factory license from Marvelous, so the proper Rune Factory games are not getting delayed in any way because of this game. This is just a little bonus if you like puzzles and you're craving for more Rune Factory. And so these are the 10 farming and farming adjacent games I'm looking forward to the most in 2025. There is going to be a lot more, but the year is looking great already, and it's interesting how many spin-off games we're getting. I feel like all of them are going to deliver completely different experiences, and also most games on this list are for spring or early 2025, so it's going to be hard to choose. Let me know which ones you're looking forward to the most. My top 3 would be Story of Seasons, Rune Factory, and Fantasy Life. Tell me yours in the comments, leave a like and subscribe for more content like this, and I'll see you all in the next video.